We are,
In there, Shelley.
we open the meeting. Board of Health. All right. So we have anything here? Wait for the young lady. What about board member reports, anything?
None for me.
And we don't have the minutes.
Yeah, there aren't minutes yet from the last one? Okay.
I'm sorry, the meeting that was rescheduled in December, was there a meeting or
Yeah, the following week.
The following week, was it?
that I couldn't make?
That's
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
The majority of it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we don't have many minutes with, first thing is the update on chicken complaint on Paktak Way.
Anybody here on the chickens?
Yes.
You
Okay.
want to give the update, Gino?
Yeah, why don't you?
So I know the animal inspector did go out there. Unfortunately, Gino and I weren't able to go. We weren't contacted. And essentially, my instructions are, as the first thing, see if we can talk them out of the roosters. But she didn't find any problems out there. There were two roosters there. She didn't hear them crow, which doesn't mean they don't crow at 4 in the morning and other times and things like that. So I'm not sure where the rest of the board feels. She didn't see any major problems, at least from a health perspective. This doesn't mean you guys don't have legitimate complaints about that. In my opinion, it's largely a civil matter. It seems like, the condominium complex, from the letter we got, I think probably from you, basically says you've spoken to the condominium complex, they have a 2-pet minimum, maximum, and they're in compliance. That doesn't involve us, but that may resolve your problem. But it may be an attorney issue, especially with the property damage and the nuisance part of it. So, but in my opinion, I don't know how the rest of the board feels. I'm not sure it falls into the realm of a public health issue. That's just mine. We still have to discuss.
Any comment from
No,
the
I
director?
agree.
We all, have all,
Yeah, I mean,
That's not to say you don't have a legitimate complaint.
Right, it's like a different path to get it resolved.
And there was some discussion last time, the more you document complaints, if you go to court, the better it is for both parties. If you get somebody out there who says there's a problem, there's a problem. You get somebody who says there's not a problem, it's to their advantage. But, other side, the court gets in, he said, she said sort of thing. So if they're over there and they're causing damage, I would recommend you call the police or the animal control officer, animal inspector. So,
before you leave, would you be kind enough to sign in so we know who's here? Thank you. All right, so we settled that, right?
Jim did, so there was one thing from Jim in there, I think, that talked about Littleton doesn't have livestock regulations because we're an agricultural town. That's not it. I've worked a lot on livestock regulations, and it has more to do with it, so case by case. And where it comes to a public health issue, boards of health have very broad authority on these things. But where it's more of an annoyance issue and property damage, it's just a different realm. So. All right, thank you. Sorry I couldn't be of more help.
Don't forget to sign in, okay? Right there. Okay, so we have a few minutes, so why don't we just read the minutes? Right there, honey. Right, he's got it. Thank you so much for coming.
Great, thanks for looking into it, really appreciate it.
You were a gentleman, thank you.
So I have 2 places in the minutes that I have question marks because I have to look up names, but I just wanted to get these in front of you today. So.
As long as you don't expect us to remember the names.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did you say they were in compliance?
No, there's nothing for them to either comply with or not compliant. We don't have regulation, so if they're not in compliance. What our inspector, she didn't see any conditions that would warrant a public health concern.
Like you said, the administration of the condominium have a compliance, so that's what you have to fight for.
Yeah, I think what I said was they're out of compliance with their own condominium complex. They have a limit on 2 animals, apparently. That's got nothing to do with us, I just saw it in the note.
Sorry. So, are chickens considered pets?
That would depend on their definition of pets, but
Who's
the condominiums complex, it's their policy, so they would have to define what a pet is.
But he
So they're
doesn't,
2 different issues. You've got their internal policy, and then you've got the nuisance, annoyance, property damage, noise, all that stuff, which is a civil matter.
Okay. Thank you
But-
again for looking into it.
in the meantime, could be it might comply because the association of the condominium has regulation as January 1st, 2017. So keep that in mind, okay?
Exactly.
Okay.
We haven't been over to count.
Okay,
Sounds
yeah.
like a lot.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Would you be kind enough? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for coming, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, good night.
Okay, good luck.
Goodbye.
Don't think the dog can fix that issue quicker than anybody else.
Pet fox.
I did have a question about the minutes. Do you want to, should I wait until you're done?
Yeah. Just
So I saw,
indicate where you have it.
yeah,
on the
so I saw
next page.
Sherry Bennett was here talking about 4 Washington Drive
Okay,
and 3 Lincoln Drive. And when we approved 3 Lincoln Drive, we said that he needed to come back in January
okay.
and talk to us about, do you remember he was going to talk to the highway department
Right.
and find out if they would put a drainage pipe? So
Mhm.
so I think that permit is contingent on some sort of
Right.
drainage.
We sent her to Shelley to get the update on that.
Yeah,
Sure.
she never came.
She never came in, but
I don't believe the permit has been signed for that, and I
Um,
think the
that's-
drainage issue is still.
Yeah, so Mr. Doucette is supposed to come in January, and
He might probably come in next meeting.
I just want to make sure that we close the loop and that he comes back in.
You're not going to sign until he comes in, the permit.
Okay, I just want to make sure about that, and that for him to come in, so the permit is just waiting, it's not signed?
Right.
I thought that
I
had,
haven't got it from the Neshoba yet.
but I think Jim Clyde had already said they could tie into the drainage pipe that went out to the front of the house.
we didn't confirm that,
Right.
so I just want to make sure that he comes back and that that is fully confirmed.
Yeah, well, he won't get a permit if he doesn't, so.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. You said you didn't get it back from Neshoba yet? So when we grant the variance, then it goes back to Neshoba and then the...
Right, so generally by the time it comes here for the variance, Jim has reviewed it and he's ready to issue the permit. Sometimes though, with this one, there was still the whole finalizing of the drainage issue. So because it was, posted for butters to come, they can still have the hearing, but Jim had not prepared the permit for signature from the board or even
he's
finalized the
holding
review
it-
of the plan.
He's
Right.
holding it until...
Subject to that drainage
Yeah.
being shown on it that was discussed and agreed upon, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so when that
Trip thing for
is all set, then the permit would come over, and I don't think it's in.
And there would be a maintenance plan along with that, right?
Right, there would be the final plan showing what had been discussed and approved, because I
Yeah.
believe the variance
Up there, that's.
approval was contingent on
Okay. I
highway.
wasn't
and
sure
all
how
that.
the
Yeah.
contingency worked. Okay.
Yeah, generally, if Jim hasn't seen the plan that's being discussed, I don't like to see the variance being, I think it should be continued until the actual plan is presented to the board and they can see it, and then vote the variance on that, just so that paperwork-wise and everything, they can discuss it, but continue it and come back with a plan that is gonna be the permitted plan, so
Yeah.
that everybody has seen what's gonna be done. That's, I think, the preferable way to do it.
Okay.
motion, I mean,
Well, there's questions about, you had some questions there, Shelley.
You're gonna
Do
fill
we
those
need
in
to?
later?
Yeah, I'm gonna fill those in, I
Okay,
just,
we
I
can-
just,
Motion to approve the minutes with the changes indicated by Shelley.
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we are ahead of the game, so should we open a meeting on,
You gotta wait 3 minutes,
you
Gino.
want to make, okay.
Okay, is everybody here?
Yeah, by the way, just FYI, the next meeting is, scheduled meeting's the 24th. I cannot make that.
Okay.
Looking, Gino. You? I think I'm here.
Okay.
The one after that, I might be in Pittsburgh of all places.
If you're here, I'm here, you don't be here.
Oh, the 24th? Yeah.
Young Farmer and Rancher Committee, all these 22-year-olds.
Even if Peter will not
Drink
be here.
way
it
too much.
doesn't-
Yep.
We can, it'd be okay. I think he'd be
I'm
fine.
okay on the 24th.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you, John, for letting us know.
No problem.
8th, I have a potential conflict, but, oh, sorry,
The
7th.
Is that a second Tuesday?
Nope, that's the first, so we're good.
Okay,
The next one's Valentine's Day, Gino. I don't know if you can miss that, can you?
I don't know. I sing you a nice song. Now, can we go to the 7:15? I'm going to open the meeting of the 15 Menu Place. Anybody here from? Would you be approached it?
Set a plan on the table? is that
Yeah,
right?
well, if you only have one, I think I have one over here. Okay. You can,
So my name is Doug Smith, Soil Smith Designs, and
okay.
I have the septic plan for 15 Mannion Place, and the owner is here tonight too. It's a failed septic system. They've got the existing well here, they've got a tank and a existing system in about the same spot as where we're proposing to put the new one. We ended up digging 4 test holes there. We did 2 up top here and we did 2 below. The ground drops very steep. The ones below came out very bad with the water table, about 8 inches, and water was just pouring in. It was not suitable. But up top here, it should work very well. There was quite a bit of fill from when they did the existing system and work that's been done on the property over the years. The house is fairly old. And the idea is to dig all that fill out, put some of it over the bank, which will make the proper 15-foot breakout and slope, and then put a Presby system right in this area with a brand-new tank. And to do it, I do have some variances I want to ask for, and I typed out a letter of all of them I could pass out, so when I read it, you'd have it in front of you. And
Can I just ask you one question?
yes,
So the test pits 3 and 2 are where you had water at 8 inches?
that's correct.
Okay, so that's at elevation 84? About?
Correct, yeah, a little bit below 84,
82.
yes. Yeah, probably 83 and some change. Yeah, it was very wet down there. We didn't get very much depth either. The holes were only about 3.5 feet deep and we hit ledge. And up top, you only see 1 test pit in the perk shown. We dug another one closer to the tank and D-box, but I didn't really record it because we sort of hit part of the old system. It wasn't really anything we could record.
How far is the existing the well? How far is it?
It's about 107 feet from where the D-box is. This is the 100-foot radius line right there, so. So the variances asking for, the first one is reduction of the system location from the cellar slab. 20 feet is required, and we only have it 11 feet. That's 310 CMR 15.
Is it a basement or a slab?
It's a full basement, but that would be the slab elevation in here.
Okay, good.
And the reason I'm confident that that won't be any kind of problem is that the top of that Presby pipe, the top of the system itself is 18 inches lower than the concrete slab height, so
Lower.
nothing can really affect it. At least I don't think things go up.
Gravity's pretty consistent
Yeah,
that
right.
way.
So that would be good. The second variance is to get everything to flow from the existing plumbing, the pipes that come out. I asked for a 9-inch reduction to the seasonal high water. With Presby, you can actually go up to asking for a 2-foot reduction if you want. And commonly, on a lot of plans, a 1 foot is asked for, but 9 inches will make everything flow perfect from plumbing elevations that exist. So that's the second one. And the third one isn't really anything that's in the rules to speak of, but it's always done where you put a 5-foot overdig around the system, always. And it's going to be a little hard to do because of this porch that sticks out. So I have a 5-foot overdig going everywhere, and then it fizzles to just 1 foot outside of the Presby sand, which is already a foot. So,
Kind of normal practice versus a requirement though, right?
right, it's normal practice to do it, and I don't think it's going to hurt anything, but I would be nervous to dig any closer to that.
Understood.
So that's the variances we're looking
Appreciate you
for.
bringing that to us, but absent a requirement, I'm not sure we need a variance for that one.
Yeah,
But I do
okay.
appreciate you mentioning it. It's,
All right. And just so you know, Jim Griffey has reviewed the plan.
Right.
And he did,
You want me to read it for you?
yeah.
You got it?
Well, he emailed me on the 6th.
Okay.
And all he asked me to consider putting a or some kind of filter in, because in Littleton, you want a filter. And I think a filter is good also. And the second thing is the 3-to-1 slope. So I did add the Zabel filter. I've got it up here.
there's also
showing-
got some notes here about some additional testing.
Okay, that I never did see.
You want to read it, Gino, or you want me
Yeah.
to?
Well, I don't have a problem with the request, with the condition that additional testing is done behind the house to ensure the water table is consistent. A hole in the proposed area will be done because it will be in the area of the old system.
Okay.
If you can meet that,
Could that be done when the bed bottom is dug out and when the system goes to get excavated?
What's the elevation of the bottom? I think
The
it,
bottom of the Presby pipe itself
Yeah.
is 9307. The bottom of the sand bed, which they base everything for, is 92.58.
so you should have like 10 feet to water. I mean, I don't know modeling, but should be safe.
From what water?
Water table. So what he's asking is
Water
to
table.
do the test pit to define the water table
Yeah,
when they do the excavation. I think that's safe because it should be about 10 foot.
yeah, I had water table, season high at 89.42 on the test pit that's right up near the system.
Oh, really? Okay, so that's the
And that-
modeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we found the modeling. And that would be, that's what everything is based on in this plan with that 9-inch variance that I had
Okay.
asked for. But we tried that. We tried digging right in the corner here, and like I said, it was all fill, and then we ran into some extremely black material that was determined it was part of the old system.
right.
And if we dug a few more scoops, it just would have flooded and made a real mess. So we're pretty much limited. But I know in other towns, when I've done things like this, when it is tight like that, that's what some of the boards will allow is when everything's dug out to build it, and the bed bottom's a good time to verify.
Right. Well, if you follow Jim's suggestion,
Okay.
I don't think we have any problem. Any comment from the board?
Well, I mean, we approve it, he does it, and what's he going to find, and what are we going to do about it? I mean, it's, So I'm okay with it, it's just,
Yeah.
at that point, it's approved anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
worst
fine with
case.
it because the real water table should be
Yeah.
about 10 feet down, maybe, give or take. And if the system is there, the hydrology is not going to be natural anyway, because you've got the system influencing that. So, doing the test pit there is not your background conditions. unless you do
It is
adjacent.
tough, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it seems like a safe bet.
And on this one, we did have 48 inches of fill on top of the ground itself. So then from 48 to 53 was the old existing topsoil. Then you had the next layer. Finally, you had the modeling down there. So when you put all those numbers together, when Aaron is talking about that 10-foot, like it probably is
Yeah, unless
getting up to pretty
bedrock's-
close to that.
Unless bedrock comes up there,
Yeah.
could be higher.
So Jim also gave you other conditions about a filter and what else?
Yes, he asked, I've got a copy of what he sent me here, but he asked for the 3-to-1. Originally, I had one line right here for the 15-foot breakout, and that was calculated on the same elevation as the bottom of the sand bed, which you're allowed to. As he did the math and looked at this slope, he thought a little bit more fill would have to be added, so I added these 4 to 5 lines going down, all the way down to the 86 contour, and it's not much soil. It's a fairly steep slope now. We'll probably be adding 7 or 8 inches onto that same slope, and then it meets that 3-to-1.
So here's Jim's comments to Doug. A 3-to-1 slope is required beyond the 15-foot breakout distance. And 2, I know Presby doesn't recommend the use of a T filter with their system, but Littleton regulations do require one be installed. You should add it to your variance request if a filter is not going to be provided. I'm not sure why we're requiring it when the manufacturer doesn't recommend it, but I mean, we should address that. Are you planning on putting in a filter?
Yeah, I figured since I was already asking for 3 variances, I thought if
Put in a filter.
it's something that you like as a board here, we'll just put the filter in. It's,
Well, I don't know enough about it, but I'm usually loath to go against manufacturer recommendations.
Could I
I was
say,
gonna say, does it invalidate anything?
And, well, the only, see, some of these filters are designed differently. The Zaybell, which is the one I'm asking to put in, is pretty good. The whole top is open, it's got a handle, but it's got a big hole about this big. There are a couple other manufacturers that don't, it's all plastic, and it restricts the airflow.
If you're comfortable as the engineer with the filter, let's go for it.
Okay.
If you have any concerns, though, with it, where Presby doesn't recommend it, then I'd certainly be willing to entertain a variance.
Variance on it, okay.
So why does Presby not recommend it, do you know?
It's got to do with airflow, because you get a vent on these systems, and the air goes right up through the stack roof, and like I was saying, some of those other brand of filters really do restrict the air quite bad.
But you don't-
There's not
this
much
is-
of an
You're
open.
comfortable with this one?
Yeah, this one I'm quite comfortable with. I had one in my own house for, how many years did we have that one? 17 years. And we had a Presby system.
I hope you're buying her dinner after you make her sit through this.
Yeah, that-
She's a moral
if you
support,
can tell me where a good place to go is.
99.
Okay.
Any more comment from the board? Okay, I entertain the motion.
I can do it. All right, I'd like to propose a motion that we approve, what's the plans for?
Succinctly on
Yeah,
this right there.
but I have that, I just don't, the plans, here we go, plans for 15 Mannion Way, Mannion, on the revised date of 1/9/2007. Variance requested, the first one is a local upgrade approval of 310 CMR 15451B, which is reduction of system location setback from a cellar slab. It's 20-foot required. He's asked for a reduction to 11-foot
oh, sorry.
provided. The second one is CMR 15504-1H, which is reduction of a 4-foot separation from the top of the system to high groundwater, and requesting that reduction actually just be 9 inches to 39 inches.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Good night.
Good night, thank you.
So your left, take a left there, the point has a number of nice restaurants.
Okay.
We're not, as a board, we're not recommending or endorsing any of them, we're just describing their locations.
Yeah. Take it easy.
See you
Right.
guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
300 Foster Street.
Thanks.
I close the meeting and we open another one. 300 Foster Street.
So I have a set of plans, I also have a few renderings for those, for you guys.
So this is Medtronics, is that what's there? Am I in the right
They're one of
place?
our tenants, Medtronic.
Okay. So you're right about the orchard and that little pond, right?
Okay.
Where's the medical marijuana going? Is that your building or the one next door?
Next door.
All right.
Next door? Oh,
I
no.
don't think it's medical.
Well, it wasn't until last November.
Yeah,
anyway.
right.
It's no longer medical, so I hear.
Oh, boy.
Potato, potato.
This is a different one.
All right, so for the record, my name is Chris Anderson, I'm with Hannigan Engineering here on behalf of Consecrated Associates for the replacement system of a replacement septic system for 300 Foster Street. Currently, there are two different septic systems located on the site,
300
one of which is in failure, which is located right through here. Quick little history of the site. This building was constructed in two phases back in the early 80s. So during the initial phase, they had one system constructed here,
Sorry.
and during the secondary, they had another system
a lot of pages
constructed
for you to look
in
at.
the parking lot.
All right. Old Apple Orchard, right?
Yeah. So this system is currently in failure. Per Title V, we're required to construct a new system that can handle the entire flow from the entire site. The calculated gallons per day from the original submission, the original back in the 80s was 5,200.
How big that area is? How big? How many square feet?
117,505, Gina, for the building.
That's the footprint, yeah.
Yep, that's the square foot of the footprint.
Wow.
A little bigger than your house.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Minus the basketball court. Okay.
But, I lost my train of thought, sorry.
The flow.
Yep, the flow. So the original flows calculated back in the early 80s was about 5,200 gallons per day, which causes us to jump up to the 2,000, or jump up to a pressure dosing system because it's in excess of 2,000 gallons a day. So that's the general overview of the project. Tonight we're requesting a local upgrade approval for a reduction in the overall system size of up to 25%.
Reduction.
Reduction, yes, sorry.
Okay.
Quick little rundown. Concurrent with this filing, we also made a filing with the Conservation Commission for a notice of intent because of the work that's going to be performed within the 100-foot buffer. The entire system is located
How
out
much
of
buffer you have from the wetland?
from the actual system itself, in excess of 100 feet.
Oh,
Yep, the entire system's located outside that buffer. We had several review processes with the local commission, and they had great concern over the limit of fill that was going to be in close proximity to the wetlands.
Okay.
They
I'd be
had,
worried about the geese. That thing turns green because of them.
so, they had requested us to do additional testing, evaluate all the options on the site. So we performed testing all over the site and found this area to be the most conducive for a system of this size. In addition to that, we're back in the original submission, the systems for these kind of pressure dosing systems are essentially flat. And this hillside, if you're familiar with the site, is pretty steep. In doing so, you create almost a flat tabletop along a steep slope. And we got a few estimates from a few contractors, and the cost of the system was going exponentially higher with the amount of fill required. So in combination of the comments from local conservation and concerns over the cost of the system, we're requesting the 25% reduction to minimize the impact on the wetlands and the cost.
How much, when you say reduction, how much is it? Original now?
Say again?
The one you're gonna build now,
It's a 24.5% reduction overall.
So have you seen Jim Gareffi's comments, or? So I can read them. It's
ahead.
essentially the last paragraph, I think, sums it up for me. I don't have a problem with the system reduction. The design system requires pressure distribution of wastewater to the leaching area. Pressure distribution provides a more even application of the wastewater to the system, which is greatly preferred.
Could you, what's the dash line there?
This one right here?
Yeah, the 2 dashes line.
The 2-dash line right there is the 100-foot buffer.
Okay.
50 and 100 foot? You got two. You got one here. Isn't that the 50 and the?
Yep, we have the 50 right here,
Yeah.
and then the 100 right here.
So you said the whole system was, oh, those are, it's just the,
Here's a much better.
Yeah, see.
And that's, by the way,
Oh, I
just
see.
for clarification, that's an old farm pond. It's
Yeah.
not really a natural wetland. That was dug at some point in history. So
It's a big house, though. Oh, boy.
so the system itself is outside, you've just got
Yep.
regrading there?
Yep, so only the grading within the buffer zone is
Okay.
concerned over the
And
conservation.
I don't, I've been there, I don't think there's any surface water
No, I don't
connection to
think
any
so,
other
yeah.
water body there either. I mean, maybe.
Not,
It's a good area, too.
there's a few drainage lines about 100 feet over here and another 100 over here, but
But it was clearly built to drain water off that farm at some point.
Yep.
Okay, any other comment? I entertain a motion if nobody has any comment.
Motion, do we, I just need the variances someplace.
oh, sorry. Local variance.
I'll make a motion for 300 Foster Street. John, what's that?
Where's the date? Where's the date? September 6th.
Revisions to.
Revisions to design for 300 Foster Street on 11/16/2016. Local upgrade approval request 310 CMR 15.4051C. Local approval to a 25% reduction in the required subsurface disposal area design requirements. Full compliance requires 8965 square feet of loading area. The 25 reduction would result in a 6724 square foot of loading area. The loading area provided 6768 square feet, total reduction of 24.5%.
For us young people, I recommend next time you come, make it a little bigger, okay? All right? Thank you.
So we'll deal with it if it comes like this.
Okay, the motion was made, second?
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we got,
Discussion, but he's not here yet. We have him at 7:45.
yeah.
Too efficient.
That'll kill 10 minutes.
This
And
is your-
divide and conquer?
What is it? Concord?
Divide and conquer.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, divide and conquer.
So it's not spring fed or anything like that? Yeah.
Thank you, good night.
Good night. Good
Night.
luck. Big that house over there.
What?
Big place, huh?
You've been there, Gino, at the top of Foster Street?
Yeah.
Well, it's an office building, basically,
Yeah.
right? Or
R&D,
R&D?
R&D office.
Yeah.
Where I teach people to drive in this parking lot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody there on the weekends.
We take our daughter out to Devon's.
Oh, yeah, to teach how to drive?
Yep.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
So one of the police in town, maybe he was just suggesting it to
Gotta
get us
send
out of
the others.
Littleton.
Yeah. Can you send them this way when you're done with them? They're going
Oh.
down the line. When you, no rush.
All the way down.
Sorry about that, I should have given you first.
I was trying to show Luke how to do donuts in the snow the other day, but
I think I need to do that.
So, I wasn't here for this one.
Nope. Back.
If you were not here, that's okay then.
So I wasn't here, so I shouldn't sign it, right?
He's got enough signatures.
Sorry, it's just the permit, it's not.
That's all right, sure.
No, I,
You don't have to if you don't want to.
yeah, I wasn't. 6 Porter, I wasn't here for that. This one is.
It's not gonna bite you. It's not gonna bite you.
No, I didn't like that one.
You didn't like that?
No,
She doesn't want to put her name on that one.
I'm putting that name on
I
that
don't
one.
wanna put your name on there. Or before you go, you gotta sign my nomination paper outside.
Okay. That's that during the meeting.
I think you got enough on, I think there were just two for me to sign.
Cancel that.
So, as an update on Taylor Street, went to court.
And what happened?
Son showed up and wanted to buy the house,
For $1, right?
so the court gave him a month
His
Is there
son wants
something?
to buy the house.
Son's gonna buy it?
to come up with a purchase and sale.
How
for
much?
the house, so going back to court January 20th.
How much he buy for it?
There was no
Won't say.
discussed, but
That thing, I can't believe it, can't believe it.
I,
It's falling apart and somebody can get hurt.
yeah, they, it was all set. They had the receiver all picked and the son showed up and.
Well, they probably wouldn't gotten that far if we didn't push it with the receivership. Are you familiar with this?
A little bit.
It's a nice building, it'd be nice if
Right?
somebody could save it. It's too bad it's taken this long.
The old house, right?
Yeah.
Next to the post office.
So go back the 20th.
It's a good
I
location.
hope we don't run through the same gambit with the son as we did the father, so.
I don't know, but where are you gonna get the money to fix it?
The son owns a realty company or something, doesn't he?
Oh, really?
In New York or someplace, so.
That's a
There's
beautiful
like a huge
house.
lien on the house. I mean, there's a $500,000 lien on the house, so I don't know how you're gonna ever.
As is, that'd be,
It
it's,
need
Oh,
to be
right, you
redone
probably
on
have to put
the
a-
side and outside too.
oh, that's a gut job.
Yeah, that would be quick.
You gotta
I mean,
get
that would be
it,
close.
Got it out everywhere.
Everything but the
Yeah,
frame, I would think, yeah.
yeah. It's too bad, you know?
But the house is just the part of it, right? I mean, there's the land, there's the big hole in the ground from the old carriage house or garage.
There's all the stuff inside of it.
Yeah, I mean,
What did, Bill and I figure, I think 30 dumpster fills, or at least.
oh,
Have you been in there?
Oh, yeah. So they've got two staircases, a front and a back staircase, and you come in the front door, and to get to the kitchen,
Yeah.
you'd have to go through the living room and dining room, then there's a kitchen. But they've got so much stuff in there, and the way you can get there is go upstairs and come down the back staircase.
Come on. Oh. I thought that was bad.
there's no way I would have gone in there. Feel like going into Buffalo Bill's house.
We have the fire department with us, and he goes, hold on, and he comes back with one of the pieces of plywood with a big red X on it. So what's that? He goes, that tells us not to bother trying to save it if it catches fire. It's too dangerous. It's a 30-foot well in the basement. Just open.
30 foot.
Whoa.
Telling you, I've seen this in movies, man.
This was, well, we're on
Want to
TV.
take a bath, go to
Exactly.
No.
fresh water.
It's like,
So I left a message, Rich Allen called me a week or so ago, and I called him back, and I told him, we either needed a written report or to come to the meeting tonight, and I never heard back from him, so.
Well, the Attorney General he trying to do whatever he can, or whatever she could.
Well, I don't think we'd be here right now if the Attorney General hadn't pushed it, so.
Yeah, I think that was
And honestly, if somebody
the-
comes in and buys it and takes and makes it safe, that's
Yep.
Well, they
fine.
did it, the
That's all I
previous,
care about.
whoever bought it, the previous house, it was redone.
The one next door?
They- Right, yeah, big, beautiful job. He didn't do it, somebody else bought the house and got
That
it.
was never
got
the
it.
kind of shape this one was, though, you know. Yeah.
Probably, I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess we all have a little piece of junk here and there, you know, I got it.
I have to say, I did go home after going there and cleaned out my basement that weekend.
That was enough for you?
oh, maybe I should come over there.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
Yeah.
horrendous.
just bring a little bit, a lot of work.
Exactly what you said. So my mind just thinks like that, right? Because the first time I'd gone to Disney with the kids, all I could think of when we were on the It's a Small World ride was like, if this broke down and we're stuck in here, and it's like a Stephen King novel, you'd go mad just listening to that endless song on a loop, and the dolls would probably come to life, and you could like imagine a whole Stephen King novel. I was like, the whole time through this, that's all I kept thinking about. I kept that to myself, so as not to.
You didn't say to-
Yeah, that was a good idea.
Yeah.
You didn't say to anybody, yeah?
I heard a story on BBC where this guy was basically in a coma for 20 years, and everybody thought he was, was out of it, but he was basically conscious the whole time. And he said they played Barney for like 12 years of it.
Oh, my
So
God.
He woke up and can't listen to Barney anymore.
No, I can't imagine.
Talking about a nightmare.
Holy smokes, yeah, you can't move, you can't respond at all to it.
I barely made it through my kid's childhood.
Exactly.
Did he say he's coming?
I'm just glad
Never
Blue's
responded
Clues
to me. I
was.
told him he was on
See,
the
that one I
agenda.
like. I like Bear in the Big Blue House and Blues Clues.
Well,
Those I
a
could
few
stop
minutes
it,
and-
you know.
If he's not coming in 5 minutes,
I'm not very good at
No.
he has an email, Ray, you can write him an email. I probably will see him. Could be, I don't know, but I saw him the last time he said he's was coming.
You know, talking about
He had called me,
teaching a little
so
bear how to
and
learn
I-
the
I
bathroom,
returned his
right,
call
get out of the
and
diapers and all that sort of
told
just
him to
cracks
either
me
give us a
up.
written
Yeah.
report or to come in tonight.
And I
so
understand there was a report about that. too.
I haven't gotten anything.
No?
It was like Thomas the Tank when George Carlin was the narrator.
Right.
Oh, I never saw that.
Oh, yeah, George Carlin was the narrator for Thomas the Tank, and all I could think of whenever my kid was watching it was the 7 words you can't say on television.
It was probably
You
killing
mean a
him.
movie, a Thomas the Tank?
No, on PBS, they had it was a British thing, but they couldn't have a British accent apparently on the narrator, so they had George Carlin redo the narration. So on Channel 2, my kids used to watch this, and it was, isn't that George Carlin?
The train, right? The tank
Yeah, yeah,
engine?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that was him. I can't imagine that. I'm trying to.
He did a very good job, but it's not
Yeah,
what I
his
typically
voice just
associate his
doesn't
voice with.
I'm sure the sensor was right on that button, right?
Yeah, I bet there were some pretty clear provisions in that.
I think he was a pretty decent guy, actually, when he wasn't doing his thing. Shtick.
Well,
So Richard didn't confirm?
but I saw him, and he tell Miss Gino, says, I asked him, said, do me a favor, you come, let him know what's going on, the board would like to see you, and he says he will come, and now he's not here.
Oh, I don't know how this falls on the agenda, but the business with lead in the water, is that something that we look at? They found lead in the water at the school?
No, that was like a DEP, DEP had a thing, and they did the testing in all the schools. I linked you guys the
Yeah.
reports, right? So any of them that had increased levels, there was the water department and I don't know who else was
So they tested.
following up on it, but yeah, that was like a state program, and that was all, had to be done in a very short period of time, so it was,
It's probably after Flint.
well, no, it was like literally, we got the email and we had a meeting in October with the person from DEP, and testing had to be done by, the middle of November, so
Yeah.
the water department, jumped right on it, and, I mean, it was extensive testing. It was in every faucet of because the superintendent wanted all the schools done. So it was all the faucets in all the schools, all the water bubblers. And then anything that exceeded it, then they have to, do follow-up on that within a specific period of time. But that was those reports. I didn't print them out because they were so big.
I just didn't know if that was something that would come under the Board of Health.
But it does come out of the board.
Yeah, you're drinking.
When it comes to water, we have to make sure everything's done right.
I suspect once they find lead in there, there are enough state agencies and federal agencies.
Oh, yeah,
They
that I'm
wouldn't
sure.
have much to add to
I'm
it.
sure that mobilized the resources, absolutely. Yeah, this isn't Michigan.
They don't want it to be, right?
Right.
Well, it's 7:45, and I kept my word, and he's not here, and I send him an email, and I'm sure I'll probably see him. It could be that maybe he's not feeling well or something, I'm sure he's got
They
a...
should have called even then. I mean, I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed in Richard.
Okay, you're right, you're
We
right.
had the neighbors here.
Yes.
We told him he had to give us a written report on this.
Yes.
we were, in my opinion, very, very good with him. The neighbors are upset with us, and
Yeah,
I'm
but-
rather perturbed he couldn't
Yeah.
go this far.
Let's see what he has to say when I see him again.
I will say, because it's
I will make
related,
sure he comes and talk to Schilling.
yeah, I will say, because
Okay.
I saw a note here
Yeah.
to Keith having to do with, I'm on the agricultural commission as well. It
Yeah, but
came
what
to
did he
that
say?
as
What
well.
Keith got to do with it?
Well, I think because the neighbors are questioning whether he's zoned for it, which is not our issue, but
Okay.
because there's ag zoning there, and
Right.
in my opinion, he doesn't meet the ag zoning, but
Okay.
that's the zoning board of appeals and Roland's issues, but they
Okay.
apparently asked the AgCom for
All right.
input.
So we don't have anything else here, so he's not here, is it 30 minutes of
That's
8?
it, yeah.
I entertain him,
Do you know where the abutter lives?
What's that?
Where is the abutter?
Oh, yeah, we know the abutters by name.
They're all over.
Yeah,
So
no.
there's that.
He's got Richard Way, which is a cul-de-sac
Yep.
behind him, and he's
You
got
see
Colonial Drive, which is on the left.
So
and that's-
the ones who are complaining?
Yes, they come from that Colonial, which is right to the left,
Yeah,
right there.
there.
And then
And then
that
that
Richard
cul-de-sac
Way
behind it.
cul-de-sac behind him.
Oh,
But the issue is, whether he's composting, I mean, there's no farm production there,
so how does this come under our purview?
so. Nuisance stuff, because of the odors.
but
Oh, there
was
are
no
odors?
There's no odor.
Well, there were odors.
There were.
No more.
So what happened was we had a number of odor complaints for
Right,
years, and, it was a little hard to deal with because we get a complaint. It
Odor's
smelled last
tough. I mean, odor's
Tuesday,
really hard.
and what are we gonna do about last Tuesday? So we set up a reporting form where every time they had an odor, they would email, it would go to all of us. We confirmed it. We went through in the fall and we smelled things, it wasn't too bad. In the spring, I have to say, it got pretty bad in my opinion, and we were getting ready to deal with it. All the neighbors were here. His contractor who contracted this out off of the land was there. He was there, and the contractor, after hearing, I think, us and the neighbors talk, basically said that they would cease the compost operation.
Right, which they did.
But they haven't yet, but they needed time essentially and they were not in compliance with DEP regulations, which we had told them before, but we can't enforce. There were wells he didn't have the setback from. So he had to move those within 30 days, but the stuff was in mid-compost. So we gave him we basically said, we'll give you to a certain date, which we extended it last time he was in here.
Yeah.
To take it off of there. One of the requirements, though, was that he give us an update on in writing
That's what we asked him.
periodically, which he has neglected to do.
Yeah.
Which the neighbors are upset about, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing is, part of that monitoring was, he agreed to also track and in some sort of journal or, tracking format, work done on the composting operation, so that we could see, well, is there a correlation between odors, complaints, and work?
Yes.
So if there wasn't a correlation, and really the odors was really just which way the wind blows,
Right.
which was a possibility, that would be informative.
didn't do
Never
that.
did he do that. It was actually to his benefit to do that, I think.
Right.
And
So what
he
we're
didn't
trying to do is, is the odor
Help him
concur when he
out.
brings stuff in, when he's screening, when he turns the piles, all those things, which he said he did, but I never saw it.
No, he
It came
never-
out when they agreed to shut down, but,
Yeah,
but I never saw it, and we'd had asked for it several times, so.
But in the year and a half that I've been on the board, he's never followed through with anything he said he was going to do.
Well, and there are two people we're dealing with. There's Richard, who's a landowner,
Right.
and then there's
Another
Vinny, who basically leased the property off.
Right.
So,
So, you know a little bit, so I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Entertain a motion for adjourn. Second. See you, got me else. Okay.
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Come on, Thursday.
I think.